podcast. Whoop, whoop. Hey. Oh. Say hey. Oh.
I got you, Abs. I'm with you.
Thanks for backing me. Oh,
I'm moving.
I was going to do this.
Oh
my. Okay, great to start the episode.
That is.
Did you get hit or something?
No.
Oh, no.
That was like.
Emotionally, it was too much.
Happening?
Okay.
I consistently embarrass myself in this podcast.
Okay, guys, we have a really fun episode for you today.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Always.
The best part is that I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah,
Me neither.
no one knows what's happening. Don't look
Oh.
at my questions on my phone.
I am not.
Today we're doing something a little different. Unfiltered
Oh.
part 2. I don't know. A different version of unfiltered.
Lame. Try again.
Okay. Unfiltered after hours.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Great.
See, she needed a second chance.
Yeah, thanks.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it is quite late while we're recording this. But anyway, here we are again. And today we're doing something different, which I've already said now. This is the second time.
Third time, actually. Yeah.
Happy. Okay.
She didn't yap
Okay.
the last episode. It's all coming out.
I made that joke. Did you hear me make that joke?
No.
Oh, wow. Great
When?
minds. It's like before, earlier. Wow.
There you go.
Okay. Anyways, we are here. And today we are doing a little Q&A with you girls because we're fun and young and hip. And no, we kind of wanted to do something different because if I'm being completely honest and unfiltered, it's hard to come up with topics sometimes.
So difficult.
And we've recorded a lot and we've talked about a lot and we've yapped. We've yapped ourselves dry. No, not really. But we want to do something a little new. So we have a little question and answer today.
Ooh.
But the twist is that I know the questions, but these ladies do not, which means that they're going to be put on the
Don't.
spot. Because the last time that the 4 of us were all here together, we were also put on the spot.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that, our viewers, but Madison made us all compliment each
Yeah, the
other.
interesting introduction.
And
Went really well.
yeah, the compliments were a bit hard. And Flo said yappy yappy, which, like, full disclaimer, we've been saying all week since we recorded that episode. Yappy yappy. Yeah, so we're gonna do some little question and answers. Some are funny, some are weird, some are random, some are deep, some are controversial.
Ooh,
You
Julie.
never know. Yeah, to be honest, I thought of
Happy.
some just to hear Julie's response because it's gonna be fun. But okay, we're gonna start off with some that actually, fun fact, we posted on our story on YWAM Urban Key Carlston and asked people to send us questions. And I will be again very unfiltered. 3 people responded. One of them is in this room currently and is on the media team. So
That's not one of us.
yeah, that's not one of us. Shout out to Estelle. Son too, yeah. If you know, you know. But 2 of the questions were from other people. One of them
Julie's
is a member
disappointed.
of our base, and another is a girl that I don't know, if I'm being completely honest. Abby Burns. So shout out to you, Abby. You follow us on Instagram and you answer.
GDPR.
Is it really?
It's okay.
Shoot, sorry.
Social media.
Abby something.
We'll bleep
And it's
it
not
out.
me.
If you want us to bleep it out, we'll bleep it out.
Well, she sent it in, so it should be fine.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, shout out to you in case you listen to the podcast. This is for you. So I'm going to start with the first question, which is, who is the funniest person at our base?
Oh.
The funniest person in the whole base?
Yeah, like at our house, in our YWAM Urban Key Harleston.
Like, they're funny in their character or they're fun to make fun of?
I don't know either.
Or they're just funny.
Like who
I'll
makes
say
you laugh
Caroline.
the most?
I was like Caroline.
Caroline?
Yeah, for sure. Carolyn, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think she just embodies like fun.
Mm.
So like I just laugh at everything she does.
Yeah.
Not because she's like dumb or like clumsy and it's not that. It's just like she's funny. Like
Yeah.
she talks and I'm like
I was asked this question recently, actually by this person. So it's funny that they sent it in. And I said you, Julie.
Oh.
Yeah, I said you were the
Oh.
funniest person in the house, for sure.
Okay.
Like,
I'll take it.
she's already got me laughing, you know? No, I think you're really funny. You know,
Okay, cool.
you got some good one-liners in there. You always make me laugh.
I always say what people are thinking,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'd think myself as funny because like I don't know. I don't know. But thank you. I'll take it.
You're welcome. Compliment given.
What do you think?
Who's the funniest person?
I was thinking Rocio, but not because she's funny,
Uh-huh.
but because like you can always laugh with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like she has a humor like Julie. Like I see what you're saying, or Julie has this like witty humor that's really funny. But Rocio, like you'll just look at her and be like, you know,
Flores.
Flores, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
don't know.
she's like silly goofy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
silly
yeah,
goofy.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
So she's like very
Silly
like
goosey. I don't know why.
Okay, moving on. Next question.
If you give me one more disappointed look, I swear.
I was scratching my ear.
Okay.
There's no disappointment. I was just like, no.
The squeaky chair is still here.
Sorry.
Okay, next question, which is a bit of a deeper question from our friend Abby.
It's not
Don't-
you. It's
Abby.
the other
It's
one.
not
Okay.
Abby.
We love you, Abby.
It's
Yeah.
Abigail.
Shout out to her. It's actually nice that she sent a question.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an interesting one.
Oh.
She said, how did you know which base the Lord was calling you to?
Oh.
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 Bit of a deeper question. Sorry, but we're turning the tables really quickly.
I had no clue. I applied to a base in Australia. I applied to
Really?
another base in
Oh, I didn't know that.
the UK. And I applied to a base in France.
Oh.
And
Wow.
because to be honest, at that point, it's like I knew mentally that God spoke, but I didn't
Yeah.
really know that he could direct my life in that kind of way.
Yeah.
Even though he directed my life in that way to go to YWAM, to ask God such a detailed question when I knew nothing about YWAM, I didn't know where a base was. Like I wouldn't have known like, God, you can speak anything. And he would say a name I've never heard of. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that God would have been like Urban Key. And he'd be like,
Yeah.
what is that? Like, I just didn't have any clue. So I applied to all those. And I said, whoever responds to me the quickest. And
Oh,
then
wow.
surprisingly, Urban Key responded the quickest.
It's not always the case, in case you
So
couldn't hear that.
That was not a very spiritual answer. So I encourage you to seek the Lord. He will speak. I just didn't know that at the time. Now I
Yeah.
know. Growth.
There you go.
I think it's about like peace.
Mm.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, like Maddie said, like, I mean, I grew up in YWAM, so I guess it's like slightly different because I have a concept or understanding of like, from experience and from my family, like of YWAM globally, you know.
Yeah.
So I also know a lot of things that perhaps I shouldn't know about other places, and that sometimes puts even like a judgment as well, or a pre-concept of, oh, this base is that because of this situation, you know.
Right, yeah.
So I think it's really important, of course, to pray about it, but I think it's just ultimately peace. When I was deciding about going to do my DTS, I had like 3 offers on the table, and actually 2 of the offers that I had, which were not the ones that I ended up choosing, in a like practical way, they were better because I was getting a scholarship, you know, which is very rare. Like, but I was able to get a scholarship. But it wasn't the one that felt the most peace in my heart. And also there was one thing that I really wanted, which was like to feel family in a sense, you know? And so that's why I ended up choosing Spain, because of the connection that I made with my first point of contact people.
Right.
It just felt really much like family. And even though I didn't have that scholarship, I lost a lot of things in a sense.
Yeah.
So it didn't seem like the right thing or like the godly thing. 'Cause sometimes we look at when the doors open, it's God.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But actually what gave me peace was that. So
Yeah, I'm kind of similar to Maddie. I didn't really like plan much. Like, I knew for sure that God was calling me to do YWAM. And then beyond that, it was kind of like, well,
Whatever
where
happened.
Yeah, like, I don't know. So to be honest, like, this doesn't really answer the question of like where God was calling me to. I knew like yes or not yes. There was like something in me that I knew I didn't want to go to like a really big base.
yeah.
And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with them or that, I don't know, people who go there are bad or something, like, at all. But I just knew that I wanted to go somewhere that was small where I wasn't going to get lost. And I think God obviously, like, knew that as well and, like, wanted me to be in a family and not just in, like, a school necessarily. Different seasons and for different people, you know? so I think God knew that and like used that to like bring me here. But I chose England super randomly. I remember like the like real reason that I ended up coming to Urban Key was because I went online, and the only place that had amounts of prices was our base. No other other bases had like information like, oh, we do outreach and we do this and we do that, but no other base had like breakdown of prices. And for me at the time, I was like, that's I know how much it costs. I have that, so let's go. You know what I mean? And kind of similar, I just emailed and then heard back. So it, like the rest was history, you know, like so it doesn't like really answer the question. I didn't really pray about it or anything.
Yeah.
Like I was just vibing.
So holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's similar to you guys. I didn't really know that I was coming to the TS or like that I was doing YWAM, to be honest. I knew that I just wanted to leave home. And also I didn't pray. So I was like, I'm just going to go to a place where my parents feel like I'm going to be safe. And this place, like my parents knew someone. So I was like, I'm just going to go for that one. So I had no other offers or other places that I looked for, like nothing. I was just like, I guess I'm going to London. I did not want to come to London, but here I am. I love it. But also because I love big cities, but I wanted like an experience, you know? I did have the experience for sure. Not in the way that I was expecting, but yeah.
It's true. Wow.
Okay.
To answer your question, there's no
We don't
answer.
really have it. Yeah, to be honest, I feel like it's really different depending on like who you are and what God's calling you to, you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I also, at the time that I was like applying to do DTS, I was like, I knew God was real, but like, I wouldn't necessarily say I was a Christian. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know God or have a relationship with him in the way that I do now, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think also like, in case you're applying for DTSs with the like, I don't know, you've been walking with God for a long time, like that process might look different for you, you know? Like prayer and fasting, I don't know, like I feel like also it depends on your stage of life. So I can't really say, because at the stage that I was in was like very different than maybe where this person is. I don't know.
To be honest though, like I wish I would have had somebody say like, but pray about it, because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, everybody just said, oh, but where are you going or what are you doing? And I was like, no, you know? So in case you're watching this and you're like genuinely asking that question, like really do pray about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm so thankful I ended up here, but similar to Flo, I had the opposite experience of what I expected and what I wanted. I wanted a big base because I wanted to get lost, and I didn't want to come to London. And like, I feel like God put me in a place that was everything I needed and everything I wanted without realizing, you know? So that worked out well for me without having prayed. But maybe having prayed, it would have saved a lot of frustrations, a lot of different things. So
That's true.
I wish at the time, like it would have been great to have like older sisters around to say, but pray about it. God can direct you in that way, you know? So pray about it. God can direct you in that way.
But also like this is not, it's related to the question, but it's not directly what you're asking. There are so many stories as well of people who've prayed, and they prayed with people, they had support and everything, and they still had a really bad experience in YWAM. Like that's really normal, you know? I actually heard a story like when I was in outreach earlier this year from a girl who like everything was like literally God opened every single door, and she went to this place and it put her off from YWAM. And she was really, really hurt, and like she prayed with her church for a really long time, her mentors, everything, the money, but she experienced some really bad things. And I think it always boils down to the fact that like God can be with you in everything, in the good and the bad, and God can lead you even. But at the end of the day, no matter how great the base is, it's still led by humans, and we all make mistakes. So even like God can work through those rough things, but you might have a bad experience. And nowadays we read a lot about people having bad experiences, and they give that bad report, and then that's what they stay with. So my hope and what I would say to people is, okay, first of all, I'm really sorry. You know, that's happened to you, and especially as you trusted God and as you prayed for that and everything. But second of all, like if you had that bad experience, see how you can give back to God to allow him to use it, and to like not grow in that resentment, you know, because I think YWAM is an amazing thing, but like humans suck, you know, we suck, and sometimes we make something bad out of something so beautiful. So whatever happens in your experience, like just know that like you're also not alone. Other people have had, even in this table, have had rough experiences, even in their processes that were actually some of the best processes of their lives, but it wasn't all like rose colors, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's true. It's a good
Dang.
point.
Yeah, that was a really good point.
Yeah.
sorry, I had to say that.
No, it was
Also,
great.
well said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really well
Really
said.
well said.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. A little bit of a haha, but also a little bit of a ooh deep.
The shoulders.
Oh, I think
Kind of
I know you're coming from.
one of the questions that was
Oh.
submitted was, "Are you single?"
Yes.
And I added to this question,
Oh.
"Do you think that Christians idolize marriage? Why or why not?"
Okay, Abby. Okay. I'm single. It's a little quiet, so I'll go. I'm single, ready to... No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm single because I think my own process of healing and different things, and like where God has me, hasn't been the right moment to get married, and that's okay. I'm not one to be like, oh my God, I'm 31 and I'm single. Not really fussed. Not because I don't want to get married. I do want to get married, and I plan to. I have things that I know will happen in my life, and I know that I will get married. I'm certain of it. But I don't idolize it, and I'm not like desperate for the day. It hasn't happened in my life because of life and the way I've been walking. Not in like a I don't talk to boys kind of a way, but in like it just hasn't been the right time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, no. It just hasn't been the right time, or I haven't been also a healthy version of myself to interlock my life with somebody else, or that person hasn't come into my life. So that's part one of the question. Yes.
Part one.
But I gave a little background because people like that.
She
Do it for
asked
fans. Guys, I'm so like slap happy. It's gonna be interesting. Do Christians idolize singleness? For sure.
No marriage.
Marriage.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, do Christians idolize marriage? Definitely. And I think what I find to be sad is that you have two extremes, but I'll just talk quickly about one, which is that a lot of times people think their life begins when they get married.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot in Instagram posts, you know, like the day my life started with like the ring on the finger. And I'm like, you're 35 years old. Like, what do you mean, you know? Or 21 or whatever.
Or even just in a relationship. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like so often it's like no posts on Instagram, and then the second someone gets a boyfriend, it's like everything.
Yeah.
My boo.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
Which I'm happy for people to be in
hate it.
love, but I don't like this idea that you have made it also to a certain level of maturity, or you've made it to like the right phase of life because you got engaged or because you got married or because you're in a relationship. I don't think that's fair to yourself or to God, honestly. I think God has been able to do so much with my singleness. I've enjoyed that. Like one time I was talking to Gabby, my leader, for those of you that don't know. And she was like, wow, when you get married, you're going to have to like start sacrificing things. Because if you know me, you know I run myself into the ground a little bit. I really love to do lots of things. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sacrifice anything. I'm going to keep doing everything just with a guy here. And it was like, okay, that's never going to happen, you know? So to be honest, I think single seasons are amazing. And I don't like the concept that your life starts when you get married.
Yeah.
So, and I think we idolize marriage for that reason. Like, oh, when I get married, finally I made it.
Yeah.
Finally I mean something. Finally I'm mature. Finally my voice matters. That is a bold-faced lie. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
Sorry if that was too blunt, but it's unfiltered and it's late. So
No, I totally agree. I was talking to someone recently, and they were saying to me how she was saying like that she wants the person that she dates next, which we'll see what you guys think about this. That the person that she dates will be the person that she marries. Like, she doesn't want to date anyone that she's not going to marry. And I was like, I mean, okay, but also that is like, for me, that is such a dangerous perspective to have. Like, to say I'm never going to date anyone, or never going to see anyone, or never going to even look at anyone unless I know that I'm going to marry them. And I'm like, if I'm also being unfiltered, I've been in that situation, you know, where I was so sure that this person was like, I would never let anyone in except for this one person. And then once I let that person in, they're like, we're getting married, yes or yes. And that got me into so many difficult situations, you know, and like into really like unhealthy relationships, you know, because it was always like, this person has to be the one, and I will do anything to make it work, and I'm going to be so loyal to this person that like I will go down with the ship, you know. It's like, that's actually so unhealthy, you know, like that is not a good perspective to have. And so I think sometimes also in like, especially I can only speak as a woman, but I think also as like women, we tend to have that perspective, you know, of like, well, the man that I'm going to meet he's going to be the like man of my dreams, and he's going to be the one. And I'm like, I don't know if we can think like that, you know, like, I don't even know, like, I don't think that's a healthy perspective to have, you know. I think it's really dangerous grounds to be on. For sure, of course, like, I'm not saying you can date anyone and like see a bunch of people and like not want to project or say like, oh, I could see this in them, and I can see how like this could work, like, at all. I think that that's really normal. And if like, also, if you don't want to like date a bunch of people because like I don't know, you want to be with the one that you're going to marry, I think that that's different in a way. But like, if you're saying before you even get into a relationship the next person is going to be the one, I was like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I think you need to be careful.
I think you need to be careful with what you say, for sure. Going back to the first question, yes, I am single. To the second question, I think the church idolizes a lot the idea of marriage for what Maddie was saying, but also because I think it's also a cultural belief, not just a personal belief of like, when I get married, then like now my life starts. But the church also is like, okay, now you're able to move up in the ladder of leadership, you know? Yeah. So for example, it's very frowned upon if you are single and you're leading a church, you know, or if you're single and you're leading a YWAM base.
I think especially as a single woman.
Oh, well, that's
as
even
a single
even
man, it's
worse.
like, oh, well, there.
Like,
Like,
as a
I
single,
think of vicars that I know that are single, and it's like, oh, it's not the worst.
No, people
But
are like,
single female vicar. Whoa.
yeah. And then when they find out the age, it's even more. They're like, oh, okay, so that's the reason. Like, if you're this old, like, there must be some problems, like, with your character. If you still haven't, especially for a guy, if you haven't found a wife, then it's like, you've got some issues, you know, like, there's something going on. Because, like, there's less guys, like, let's say it, like, there's less guys in missions, especially, but in the church than women, especially people who want to step up to the plate and into leadership, you know. I think I'm hoping that the tables will reverse at some point, but that's where we're at. So I think culturally the church is expecting people to get to that point in order to be trusted as well. And I think in one sense, like, there is some like biblical aspect, right? Because as an individual, if you're the one who's in charge, like, who's holding you accountable, and sometimes like couples can do that. But at the same time, sometimes couples can be so like so into themselves to the point where they don't have an outside perspective, and it's so toxic, actually. It's really bad. So yeah, anyways, to answer the question, both of those questions, that now to what you were saying, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I like my point or my perspective, and this perhaps has to do a lot with like how I was brought up, my context of where I come from, whatever. I don't like the idea of dating. Me personally, I don't like the idea of dating, because it's like it's based on that day, right? It's dating. It's like based on the factors, based on the person, based on the appearance, based on things that are like not necessarily substantial, and like, yeah, where is that judgment going? However, I don't think we're in those days anymore where you can just like meet somebody today and then be engaged by the end of the week, and then you get married in a month. You know, like most of the missionaries that I know that like I've read books based on, like that's how they did things, and I'm like, I would never be able to do that. What we do in our community is something called special friendship, which is a time where like you're trying to put God in the middle, but like, let's be honest, everybody goes in it with feelings, because like you shouldn't really move out without feelings, and that's totally good. You know, I think God gave us feelings, and feelings are good. But the whole point of special friendship, especially for us when we're living in community, is that we don't mess things up, because we're working together. And when your feelings are involved, working together afterwards gets a bit sticky and a little bit difficult, right? So it's just a process to make that, I guess, like dating, if you like, a little bit easier. Either way, like, I mean, although I think it's great, I wouldn't go into it lightly, you know, because again, like I'm sharing more with that individual, whether it's through dating, special friendship or whatever, than I would on a normal occasion. And sharing of yourself, like I feel like it's really, really vulnerable in a sense, you know, inviting somebody in, like what you were saying, you know, like you're making yourself really vulnerable. So what I would do is I wouldn't necessarily declare that, you know, like this person is gonna be the one, because I don't know, my like motto in a sense is like, for as far as I know, even all the way up to the altar, like that person's not my husband, it's somebody else's husband, you know, and I need to like respect that person in that way, you know. I know somebody, not gonna say who, but I know somebody who today they are married, they've got children, they are beautiful, it's wonderful, but they went all the way through engagement and they were like a month away or so from getting married, and they called it off. Christians, missionaries, everything. And they called it off. Today they're married with completely different people, you know.
Oh, plot twist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Today they're
Expecting that.
yeah, they're married with completely different people, but they went all the way down like that relationship. But I don't know what happened in between, but the way that they were able to like have their relationship in a way was in such a way where they were also able to hopefully respect each other as not being like their spouse, because they weren't ever going to get married in the end, you know.
Right.
And I think that's kind of how I like to view things, of like, until that we say those vows, for all I know, things could finish, because again, like life happens, people change, whatever, you know. So anyways, sorry to rant and go for a while, but I don't know, I just think that we should be careful with what we say, for sure, but at the same time we need to have a perspective of like, this is serious, and like when we share an emotion and like there's a connection, like at the end of the day, like that could be somebody else's husband. And like, I don't know, that kind of gives me like the creep sometimes. Might be why I'm still single.
I do think though, and not to argue with you, but just to like bring another perspective, which is like that couple that in that example, like they would have crossed levels of intimacy in journeying fiancé-ship that would have been inappropriate for somebody else's husband. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in that example. And like, I don't know, I also was like borderline engaged before I came here. And there was certainly like boundaries and things that were crossed. But at the same time, the reality is that like when you're dating somebody, I think there's different levels. You're dating somebody and you're getting to know them. And outside of our context of community, there really is no other way to know someone. So if I met someone at church, I can't just see them only Sunday at church and be like, hi, hi, and know them. I need to like go out with them to know who they are, you know?
Sure.
So there's a girl on Instagram that I follow. She does celibate dating. She's on Hinge. Anyway, it's kind of cringy. But the point that I think I'm in favor of dating. I think that that's healthy outside of community living. I don't think people in our community should date each other freely because we live together. You watch people brush their teeth and etc. However, like I see what you're saying about like making sure you're serious until that point, and I totally agree. But I also think like you need to cross certain levels of intimacy in your dating journey with somebody in order to know that you want to commit your life with them. I don't know. I hope that whoever I marry has the confidence to confess certain things to me, because I don't want to marry that person and find out they have an addiction to something.
Yeah.
Which has happened to friends in my life that they didn't know. They got married and they are in counseling or they're in different things because they didn't know each other in some of those deeper levels, which maybe could be termed as information for somebody else's husband. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not to disagree with you. I just think like I also don't want us to be afraid of being vulnerable with especially with guys, because sometimes I feel like as Christians we do the opposite. We're like, oh, guys over there, me over here, because I don't want to overstep on somebody else's
and then
husband.
once you've stepped in, it's like now we're in, you know. And I think that's where I had an issue with it, was it felt like this blind decision, you know, where it's like no, okay, yes, you know. It's like, well, Jesus, like have you even looked, you know, and like have you seen anything? And I think that's where I have like a bit of an issue with that idea, is that like you need to you
And
have
I
to
think
kind of
is
let-
healthy steps.
yeah,
is that people also use it as an excuse, and that's I think kind of what
Yeah.
it comes down to. It's like that. Well, for sure I want to be able to know the person that I'm marrying, like especially in today's day. Like my biggest fear, or like what we keep
Honestly.
talking about this,
Yeah.
like you now I don't know if that guy is a guy or was it a girl, you know, like that's like I want to know those things, you know.
Yeah.
So I do want to have those conversations, but I think like people always ask questions, because this is in our fallen nature, based on like how far can I push the limit,
yeah.
because what can I get out of it, you know. So that's why the concept of dating like is like what can I, like, you know, like what can I
Feels transactional.
exactly
almost,
yeah. So that's what I
I
don't
think
like
it depends
about
on
it.
your motivation.
Exactly, it
obviously,
always
like
comes down
anything,
to that. But
Yeah.
and I think especially in Christian circles nowadays, like I see that there's a lot of people that are like really pushing the boundaries as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's true.
Anyways,
To do it in a healthy way, but like right on the edge.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Wow, that took a while.
Sorry.
Took a while, but
Deep topic.
okay. I have one more controversial question.
Oh.
You want it now, or you want it like a fluffer in between?
Let's fluff.
Fluff.
Okay, fluff. Aliens, real or not real?
That's not fluff.
Chat GPT.
No, that was me.
They are not real.
We had a whole conversation about
Yeah,
this. That's
we
why I put
did.
it on the
Oh,
list.
that's true.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation
great
about
memory.
aliens. Yeah,
Yeah.
and if we think they're real. I'm anti-alien.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think they're real,
I think there's
or like any kind of life outside of Earth.
yeah. I think like once I asked I can't remember who, but I asked and I was like, what do you think about this? This was like when I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. And they're like, no, it's just maybe a form that the enemy is using to like disturb us or stuff like that, or like it's a form of demon. And I was like, okay. And I believed that my whole life. So and like if you ask me aliens exist, I'm like,
You just
"Probably
broke
it's a
the heart
demon."
of all the aliens watching right now.
Just understood. But yeah, I don't think they're real.
Yeah. Julie, real or
No,
not real?
They're
No?
not real.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's
I was
pretty
hoping for-
egocentric to think that like God
yeah,
created
there it
only
is.
us.
I was gonna say I was waiting for the contradiction.
No. I'm not saying that God only created us. I think we don't know it in full. So like, is there life outside? I have no idea. But like, I don't think I will find out until like, you know. But do I believe in aliens? Like this idea, I think that's man-made. But like,
Yeah.
what kind of life? What is out there?
No, but
like the
that's what an
stars in the
alien is
universe?
like.
I don't know.
I don't believe
like
in like
so
UFO.
bidu
An
bap-
unidentifiable
You're
object.
talking about life.
No, I'm not thinking of like an alien like the head. And
Beep,
the
beep,
eyes.
beep, beep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beep, bop, boop, boop. I'm
That
thinking
was
of
better.
like alien as
It's
a
in
bit
like
more
some
robot,
kind of
yeah.
life form outside of Earth. I don't think there is.
Some sort of extra.
Internally, inside, I don't think there is, but it is funny to like throw a rock in the
I mean, I feel
a
like
stick in the wheel. Whatever
there's
that
been
phrase is.
lots of
conspiracy theories.
yeah. Like I feel like every day I open Instagram and they're like Area 51, a new UFO flew over. You know.
I think there's definitely unexplainable things, but like I also know that we were like cast out from the Garden of Eden, and there was like
Oh yeah, like the giants.
the
and
giants that were
stuff.
placed
That's a good
around it, and
question.
so many different things as well that like are outside of our understanding. If those giants were put there, then it's also like for a defense.
You mean
and
the
why
giants
is that?
who like got with humans and then created giant human?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm
what are
talking
they
about,
called,
like-
the Nephilim. Nephilim.
No, I'm talking about like the angels that were basically, or like the guardians that were put to like
Oh.
like protect the Garden of Eden and
Oh,
stuff.
oh,
Like they were put there to like protect
Yeah.
the garden from people coming into it, right? So if they're there to like protect,
'cause
like
it means that there was already people. I feel like that's
no,
Yo,
not that there was
look
already
that
people, but that
up.
there is an access, like an access to it. So if there's an access to it from that way, then there might be an access from there to here. That's what my thought is. So
So if he's
maybe-
guarding Eden, it wasn't just for Adam and Eve to not get out; it was for other things to come in. That's what you're saying.
yeah, but like also
Demons.
like for example, in the same way that Flo is like saying, oh, like it was demons. Like what if it's like a bunch of these different things are also like signs of God, angels, or like I don't know, like you know, like
yeah.
I
What
don't
if
know.
God has another Earth?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, isn't there like a whole second Earth thing, second home?
Yeah, but
What's
like
that?
the galaxy is huge, you know. Like the universe is like crazy. Earth is like this big, and everything's like.
But you think he went through the whole trouble creating humans and feelings and he didn't create sin, but the whole thing to like have another world because we
Yeah.
weren't perfect
Yeah,
enough.
it's like you
Yeah,
guys
but
did
but
it
I
right.
think that's
We're gonna create it again.
that's the selfish perspective of saying like not you necessarily, but like that selfish perspective of like saying that like God, like we're limiting God in a sense to say that like
I see
we
what
were
you're
too much, you
Yeah.
know. So like why would God go through all of the effort, like again it's putting ourselves in the center, saying that we're too much, when actually like for God, like he could continue making and creating because actually he's creating for us
Yeah.
out of love for us. Like if you think about it, like I'd like to think about it this way. Maybe it's a bit too poetic, but like when you love someone, we were just talking about this, right? If you love someone, right?
If you love me, let me go.
Well, no. If
That
you
video of
love
the lawnmower.
someone, if
Who
you love
sings that?
someone, maybe you make poems for them, you get things for them, you do all these different things for them,
Right.
and eventually, like they don't even care. Like they stop like taking like paying attention to that. You know, I saw the other day this video of a man who like every time that they bought a drink, like a Coke, like he would cut a heart out, and so he had like so many hearts out of a Coke bottle basically that he had made for his wife. I'm sure that by the 10th time, like the wife was like, you know, whatever, but he kept making these things for her out of love. My whole point is basically God still loves us, so what if he kept making all of these different things out of love for us instead of it just being like, oh, we're too much. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
I think we
Sorry.
need some silence. I'm just kidding. Cleanse the palate.
Yeah. You earned your 4th place spot right there. That was
Anyways.
a fluff question.
Yeah, that was
You
supposed to be
took
a
it
fluff
like-
question.
Well, we just kept going.
I feel like we're gonna watch these videos in 10 years. We're like, what is yap?
What?
Like, we're not gonna know what
Yeah, it's
yappy
so
yappy is.
Like demure or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
in
Married
a couple
to
of years,
me.
we'll be like, what the heck was that?
Wow.
Okay, controversial question.
Oh.
That's like, I know where some people stand on
I
this.
mean, I feel like the aliens was very controversial.
yeah, I know. If that was controversial, then this is gonna be tea.
I think Julie just wanted to be
Yeah.
controversial.
Well,
so
I'll
she
give you
went
the
there.
chance now.
Oh.
Okay, I worded this in a really dramatic way to just like stir the pot. Is it a sin
Oh.
to celebrate Halloween? Is Halloween a sin to
Yes.
celebrate?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if I fully agree with that.
You say why?
Okay, I'm not sitting here like, ooh, witchcraft, I love it, and I think that it's good at all. Okay, disclaimer. However, if I'm speaking from my perspective or my like, what's that called? Worldview, my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I celebrated Halloween every year as a child. I dressed up as a witch. I did it. I know. It's crazy. Actually,
I see it.
fun fact. One year I got like a princess costume, and then I was like, I hate it. I want to be a witch instead. And so my parents went out and bought me a witch costume. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. You're like, what the heck, you know? But genuinely, from like my worldview or whatever as a kid, it didn't mean anything, you know? Like I was just like having a good time. I liked the witch costume because it was like purple and sparkly, and I liked the fabric of it, and I liked the little hat that I could wear, you know? Like it really wasn't anything about like, oh, I don't know. I didn't have malintent. And I know for sure like sin doesn't always look like you know that you're stepping into it, like it's enticing, and I get that. But as a kid, I just was like, whatever. And it was something that like me and my family did together. Like we would carve pumpkins, or we would like, I don't know, it was just like another holiday. So for me, I never grew up also in like a country or in like a group at all that didn't celebrate Halloween or didn't, or like saw it as a bad thing. I also didn't really grow up in like church. So I think that also had a big like impact in a way. Like I know a lot of church people like are very anti-Halloween. So for me growing up, I was always like, I don't see the big deal. Like, I don't get it. I don't see why it's a problem. Like, you know, why does it matter? You know? But also that's coming from my life, you know? I know other people have other opinions on it.
As also like a Westerner,
Yeah.
like growing up in a culture that highly celebrates Halloween, there's an element of it that's really family oriented. Like you do something as a family together, similar to Thanksgiving or other things. And so on one hand, like I feel the same as you. Like I don't see that it's sinful, that it's so horrible, because maybe you dress up as a witch, but also even if you don't dress up as a witch, it's like a way to enjoy. It's like a holiday. However, just because it's something cultural doesn't mean that there aren't levels of sin or darkness in it. I think you can look at cultures in, I'm not racist, I'm not trying to be racist, but if I look at like tribes in Africa, like there's idolatry there in many different ways, you know? And just because that's cultural and normal in their family and in their tribe and in their country and whatever, doesn't mean that it doesn't have access to darkness or things like that in it. So it's like, not to play the middleman card, but I can see both sides, that I'm not going to judge somebody for like celebrating Halloween. I'm also not against pumpkin carving or like browning leaves that I put on a bunting and hang around my room. Like I think sometimes we're like, anything related with fall is evil, and I just think that that's silly. I don't know that I don't know that I am in full agreement of like Halloween, which is like you celebrate, you do trick or treat. I do see that there's open doors and there's connections with celebrating darkness. I do see that. And I think if I lived in the States again, it would be really difficult to know how I deal with that. You know what I mean? I'm in a country that doesn't really celebrate that. So it's like, or they don't celebrate it in that way. They actually celebrate it in the way that's quite evil, you know? But in our context, it's so not evil. Like that was some of my favorite memories. My dad built a haunted house every year. Like it was always like our times to come together as a family, like big family reunions happened because it was my birthday and Halloween. So like a lot of my fondest memories are actually around Halloween. So to like consider that evil or judge others for that, I just don't think is fair. However, I think now that I know what I know, I don't know that I could step into that in the same way, if that makes sense. So that's my point of view.
I think that's really
Both.
important. What you said at the end, like I think God holds us accountable for the light and the knowledge that we have. And there's also an aspect, like a reality as well, that like as children, like we also put all of our trust on our parents. And like, so when they create like beautiful, fond memories, and when we have amazing, great times together as a family in the middle of whatever situation, like that's what God sees, you know, because God also sees the good. Even in those moments, I think that's what God chooses to see. But Halloween, just as it is, and I'll put it on this perspective, because right now, like Halloween has become so like embedded in our culture to such a point where like we no longer see bad things. But I remember growing up when I was little, like the idea of Halloween was actually a lot more spooky, but now it's actually a lot more fun. You know, because it's actually so like it's changed so much. I think 20 years from now, this conversation is going to be about pride and like the pride parade.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know?
Gotcha.
Because
sorry, I thought you meant like,
No, sorry.
I got thrown off. I was like, Halloween's turning into...
No, like...
Like, it's not evil.
Not even 20 years from now, but like some years down the line, it's going to be about like the pride parade, you know? And like how... because many people use it as a family event, coming together, celebrating one another, you know, the aspect of colors, you know, like, and so it's fluffed up in such a way where it's actually like covering like the actual meaning behind it. And I think that's the scheme of the enemy in everything, is to actually cover what we're doing by fluffing it up in a sense, you know. And so I think it takes something that's so beautiful like the rainbow and it distorts it to be something that's horrible, you know. It takes something so beautiful like the creation that God made in human bodies, you know, and then it parades them around in front of little kids, exposing them to things like from such a young age. But because they're so young and naive and they're with the families, what they see is embracing one another, you know. But as Christians today, what we see is that that's wrong, you know.
Right.
But in 20 years down the line, when things just get a lot more normalized, it's capitalized, right? So every like corner shop like now has like pride deals and whatever, you know, like it actually becomes such a norm that like we turn a blind eye to it. And then now we're also kind of jumping in on the whole thing as well. And I think that's exactly what's happened with Halloween. Like for sure, people can come at me and say whatever, but like bottom line is that it's the same. Like you're celebrating something where the foundations are actually on evil, and you can celebrate it in such a way where, you know, when it comes to Christmas, there are a lot of Christmas rituals where it's the same thing, you know? And I think we need to be aware of that, because there's a lot of things that we do because it's Christmas and that's how we celebrate Christmas in the West or whatever. But we've removed Christ out of Christmas, you know? It was such a huge thing when I was younger. Like, you give Christmas cards to everybody in your class, but everybody would write Xmas.
Yeah.
Because you take out Christ from the point, you know?
Yeah.
And everything about Christmas became about the activities that you did during Christmas, but not about the actual point of Christmas, you know? And I think it's the same. Like, we're removing the actual point.
Yeah.
And I think the point in Christmas is Christ, but the point in all of these things, what are they actually highlighting, you know? So I think that's what it comes down bottom line. I don't judge you, and I don't judge anyone who is a kid or even right now that you still, like, those are still your favorite moments.
Yeah.
If that's still your favorite moments, I think that there's also something that God still even rejoices in as well,
Yeah.
because of what I said as well, that like even in the midst of bad, like God also sees the good, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my opinion.
Fire. Flo, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's also another perspective. Like, growing up, Halloween was like evil, you know, like the worst thing ever. But also, like, it's the same. Like, I feel like it's the same with Christians being persecuted. Anything? What am I doing? Oh, nothing. Sorry.
Looking at you. I was literally just looking at her. She's like, what? What?
You were looking at my mouth, so I was like, oh my goodness, I left it. Okay. Anyways, it's very similar to Christians, because if we didn't celebrate, at least in our house, like, they would like throw things at us because we didn't give candies, or like we didn't put a ghost outside of our house. Like, you were very discriminated if you didn't celebrate with everyone. So if you disagree on something, like, people go against it because everyone's going to the same thing. Like, similar to what Julie was saying, if we're not in favor of something, like, they just come at you, you know?
Right.
So for me, it was always that memory that, like, if I wasn't agreed on something that the world was saying, like, they would come, like, against us and my family. Like, in my family, we had to hide because they would come to our house and like throw things, and it was like very dangerous. And I'm like, I don't want that, you know? I don't want to celebrate something that means that I need to go and revenge someone because I'm not following what I want, you know? Like, never, you know? So I think I didn't grow up with that memory of like, also Halloween being like a fun season, because it was very rough, you know? And like, again, if you didn't celebrate, if you didn't celebrate, it's like you're a sinner, you know? It's like the other way around for me, at least. So I think it was just also all my friends and all my family will celebrate it, except for my own close family.
I thought you were me.
That was my chair.
He like wanted to chime in. This is what I believe.
And I will stay
Squeaky chair.
true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
controversial.
Controversial.
I think the aliens was way more controversial.
Okay, another controversial
Oh,
question.
gosh.
We're pushing our time a little bit, but this is a question that needs to be answered.
I think this episode can be as long as it needs to be.
Okay.
Julie
Editing
always is
will-
looking for the controversial.
Which
Topics.
this is like controversial but like funny controversial.
Oh.
Which is better?
Coke or Pepsi?
Oh,
Yes,
that
Coke.
wasn't my question,
Oh.
but yeah,
Okay.
obviously,
Coke,
I
Coke.
think I didn't put it because I know that we all agree Coke,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Like,
And if you think it's Pepsi, then you need to repent.
honestly, if you even think it's like
100%.
Diet Coke,
If you even think it's Coke Zero.
Coke Zero, you know who you are.
know who you
and
are.
you're
Daniil,
wrong.
All out.
Tony. Just start saying thing. My grandma, my aunt, my uncle, my cousin.
Everyone.
Sorry, I do love you, but
We're a Coke family.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
Yeah.
real Coke people. But anyway, which is better,
Sorry, it's my Coke.
dogs or cats?
dogs,
dogs.
they are heavenly.
I knew that I would stand on this hill, the cat hill, alone.
You will be
But it's
alone.
okay. You know what, Maddie? I think that
Don't
there's
target me. I didn't
there's
even
two
speak.
hills.
I didn't even
There's two hills.
speak.
And here I am on cats, and here other people are on dogs.
Other people.
And here you are in the valley,
Bull.
touching both hills.
No,
both
cats
hands.
are evil. They're the worst.
She doesn't believe that.
Not a
Cats
cat
are great.
lady. No. Ever since the cat died in my hands and bit my grandma and gave my grandma like diseases she had to get shots for. No.
And that's the end of it.
I don't know. I just wanted to like a shock factor. That all did happen though.
Yeah, it's true. It's a true
Yeah.
story. But I also wasn't a cat person. And then my mom, shout out to Wanda,
Aw.
she has a bunch of cats at her house, and they had 2 little litters of kittens.
But that's different. Kittens
was
and
it-
cats are different things, babe.
Babes, let me finish the story. Okay? I let you finish your grandma shot story. Let me finish this one. There was
She's
2.
coming after your grandma.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Leave
coming
Mima
after her.
alone,
Yeah.
okay?
I love Mima.
Um,
No, she had kittens, pretty much. That's the whole story. No, but then and then one of the moms died very tragically. She got
Aw.
either like kicked by a horse
Oh.
or like, I don't know, hit by a car. There's a lot of
Owie.
traumatic deaths in the cat
We
area.
have to put like a trauma warning on
Yeah,
this
we
episode.
should. Anyway, and so one of the moms died, so we had to like bottle feed all the little kittens.
Yeah, that's cute.
And then they bonded to me, and they were like, "You are my mother."
And then you
now."
left.
yeah.
And then I did leave, but
Mm.
after months, and then we sold them as well. But they're just like there's something really sweet when you. I mean, to be fair, if I'm like not being controversial and not stirring the pot on purpose, like I know that dogs also have their value.
There
Okay.
it is. There it is.
And
There's the Coke factor.
no, but like I don't know. I think if you like connect to an animal in any way, like I think that's great.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think like there's one that's better than the other.
I
But-
just think we have to go by the percentages.
Oh.
Like it's like
A lot
chance-
of
like
What do you
cat like the chances of like a cat being that sweet at like first like interaction compared to a dog,
I
it's like
mean-
probably like 30 to 70. You know,
I don't
like-
know. There's some vicious dogs out
for
there.
sure. But the vast majority are vicious cats.
That was like cat.
You're walking down the street, okay? Just plain example, because personal animals, like at the table, you know?
Okay.
Okay? Sorry.
Sorry,
Okay.
there was a mic move for those that
Um,
are listening.
so personal animals out the question, yeah? But when you're walking down the street, yeah, you'll see some dogs. Some dogs might be like, ruff, 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 like too like unfriendly.
Wait, what was
But like ruff, 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 you know, like too unfriendly. Thank you. And some of them would actually, the vast majority of them will actually like be quite nice and cute. And if you go and you're like, can I pet them? The vast majority will let you pet them. You're walking down the street and there's a cat like out on the loose, and you'll be like, I'm here, kitty, kitty, and like they'll purposefully like look at you and like walk away.
Put
but
their
they're
backs
not
And
Oh,
like yeah, and like
Oh,
and then you'll be
that's
like,
so
can I touch you?
dramatic.
And they'll be like, you know,
Literally.
it's
Literally.
like literally.
That is
point.
not true.
Yeah, why
Fair
do they
point.
put that in every single movie?
Oh,
But
That's
Especially
literally a
Halloween
thing.
movies
movies.
are fiction.
Halloween movies.
I mean, some of
It's
them are
true.
based on like real life
fiction.
events, you know.
Matilda.
I've never experienced that.
It's Matilda.
Like, so what I'm saying is, I do think that, especially like your own animals, like your own pets at
Yeah.
home, like for sure, like I'm sure that your cat is nice. I don't like most cats, like they don't know about like their claws and they'll come and like they'll hold on, like no. But I can understand that they can be cute and that you can like make them all be like super cuddly and whatever. And like I know that, for example, like cats are a lot more chill. So like if I want to chill and like I have my cat next to me, like that sounds like a much better thing than like suddenly my dog suddenly being like
just like
the bell.
and constantly wanting food and like sniffing. I hate when dogs do that thing. Oh, this really irks me. Simba doesn't do it. Praise the Lord. Simba's such a good boy. I really
He
love
is
Simba.
such a good
But no, I hate with a passion when dogs do that thing where they just smell you and like hover their nose over you like. Oh my god! Yeah.
That was really good.
That's
Like
what
you
they
just
do.
became a dog.
Oh,
I
it
think
irks
you are a
me.
dog.
It
Yeah, yeah,
really
you're a dog
bothers
person.
me when they just like hover over you and like. Oh, I hate
No, the
it.
worst is when they come and attack you as a woman.
But cats don't do that. Cats never do that.
No, they
Cats
just-
don't.
No, they
lick
just
you.
like yeah.
Yeah, they do that.
They just
biscuits,
plow
they're
you.
so happy, and they're just.
They literally plow you. They do. I know what you're thinking. I know. But why did you have to take her that?
I don't know what you guys are saying, but it's funny.
All of us silent, and the chair's just squeaking. Oh my lord.
Anyways, dogs.
Okay, long story
Dogs
short,
all the
cats
way.
are better.
Dogs all the way.
Cats.
Dogs.
Cats. People unite. Okay,
No one.
that is the last,
Oh.
second to last question.
Oh,
I have
nice.
one more.
Okay.
Do you
That-
ready?
Yeah, I do have.
How
Well,
many do you have?
I actually had way more, but we don't need to go through all of them. We can save
Okay.
them for
We
another
can do
time.
part 2.
Yeah, we'll do part
Ooh.
2 because we're already long. But I just want to ask you guys this because I read this question online and I was like, surely there aren't people who actually do this. And now I'm so curious if
no.
you guys
Oh,
do
boy.
it.
Oh, what is it?
It said, hold on, I need to read it because the way that this person wrote it. Okay, stick with me, guys. Sock, shoe, or sock, shoe.
Wait.
Oh, how you
Repeat
put,
this.
When you put on your shoes and socks, your
Yes.
feet are bare. You're getting ready for the day. And this is your final step. You're putting on your shoes. Great. Do I put sock, shoe? Or do I put sock, shoe, next, sock, shoe?
Sock, shoe.
No!
Yeah. I don't like my feet touching the ground. I don't like the, yeah. I don't. Like, okay. No. Sorry, yeah.
The socks touching around?
Yeah, I don't. So I always have to wear my flip flops. I don't like being barefoot on the floor because then I have to kind of like wipe. So the idea of taking my in fact, I take off my feet from my flip flop, and I don't like. I have to have the sock ready to like go. You know, I don't just like take it off and then like get the sock and whatever because like my feet can't touch the floor. So I take off my foot from my flip flop with the sock already in my hand so that it can go into it, and then my foot goes into the
Are you
shoe.
serious with me right
Yes, if my foot or if my sock touches the floor that is, especially in my room, full of hair and like whatever falls from like the open window, then my sock is now dirty and that's going into my shoe. That's why like when people like take off their shoes constantly and they put their like they walk around with their socks and then they put their shoes like,
yeah, I'm with you there.
well, it's
Like,
the
I
same
don't-
thing. Like if you take off, like if you put your
But,
sock
like,
and you touch the,
one foot on the
I don't like
floor.
it. I don't like it.
That's wild. That was literally, I was like, there's no way that anyone
is
puts
why.
on their shoe,
It's me.
sock, shoe. Because your other foot is just naked there. Just,
No, it's on my flip flop.
Well, yeah, I know, but like,
I think generally I do sock, shoe, but I think this morning
sock.
Oh,
I did sock, shoe. Just this morning, if I'm
rejection.
thinking about it. But I don't remember why. I just remember doing it.
But
that
it's
way.
like weird to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel natural for me the other way.
Sock, shoe.
it depends.
Yeah.
Oh my
I think I
gosh.
do more
What?
sock. I think
Never
I do
in my
sock.
life.
Yeah.
Have I ever done?
She's agreeing with you.
Yeah, I know. It's
Oh
great.
no, like I do both. Ooh.
Oh.
I was trying to hold
Oh.
sock, shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sock,
Wow.
shoe.
It's a team.
I mean, like,
Interesting.
I think that's the only thing in your body that you would put separate. Because it's not like I would put the shirt and put like my one arm and then afterwards my other arm, you know? Do you know what I mean?
No.
How
like-
do you put your shirt on then?
You put your shirt, but with both arms.
But that's
like
like
what
what
I'm
I'm saying.
I mean, if the shirt is quite tight, then I'll get it into a position and then I'll work one arm and then the other for sure. But if I can, like, I don't know, like you, like, put your arms first and then I'm not going to demonstrate because I don't think we should see me, like, half
No.
naked.
You're
Thank
right.
you.
You are correct.
But, like, yeah, you know, like,
Yeah. I
I'm
can't.
confused now.
All right, guys. This has been a
Wow.
fun episode.
I want to know what people, like, we need to do a vote.
If it's sock, shoe, or sock,
Yeah.
shoe, sock,
Maybe we
shoe.
can put that
It's
at
like
the
tongue
bottom
twister.
of the episode for you to comment on. Is it sock, shoe,
I don't.
or is it sock,
I
shoe,
think I do both.
sock, shoe?
Who's like with the time to think about this kind of stuff?
People do.
I just like it. It comes naturally, you know. It's like how you cross your hands, you know. Yeah, exactly. So you do.
Oh.
You have
Oh.
left over right, but
What does
I
that
always do it the other way. Feels weird.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You know what? That's a genetic thing. That's
Is
like
it?
a what's that called? Like brown eyes, blue eyes. When you have like a
Recessive gene.
yes, that one.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a recessive gene.
I don't know if it's recessive or what, but like it's one of them is like it,
most
it
comfortable.
comes like it's a genetic thing that's passed down from your parents, family,
Wow.
generations to
Which
the way that you
side?
cross your hands. I always do right over left. You do left over right,
Right or left? Which one?
like your thumb.
Oh,
You do the other way. That way. No, that way.
that's what
Okay,
feels
so maybe
comfortable.
I'm recessive.
That's what feels
Wouldn't
more
be
comfortable.
surprised.
I'm left.
But you're
Okay,
more
bye.
often like that.
No. Okay.
All right.
feels-
Anyway.
Anyways,
Fun
we want to
stuff.
see what you do. Shoo shoo. Sorry,
Yeah.
no. Socks.
Shoo shoo. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You put your shoes on first and then.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah,
Wow,
this
yeah.
was fun, guys.
I mean, we could definitely go a lot deeper on
Oh.
that topic and
Oh.
like talk about other things, you know, like when it comes to hygiene. Like, should we go there? Like,
Oh.
if
I
you go
think
what
we're
number
already,
one
like,
and
over
number
that.
two,
Hygiene. Tuck.
if you go number one and number two, do you
Oh.
wipe back
No.
first? Still.
Oh.
We don't like these conversations.
And this is where we're wrapping
Bye.
up. Bye, guys.
Please write in the comments.
Bye.
Maddie's so ready. She
Bye.
is like going. See you later.
Bye.